I did want to pose just, a few questions from the article, All Hands on Deck for Black Maternal Health, written by Gene Woods, who's the CEO of Advocate Health. And one of the questions that he asked that I wanted to pose to you was, why is it that Black, from everyday folks to famous athletes, are disproportionately experiencing fatal and near fatal complications from pregnancy and childbirth?
I just don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, and like I said, when that patient looked at me and said, "Who's going to take care of us?" I felt bad. But one thing I always felt I feel very blessed that having done it for 20 years with the women that I practice with, we had a really good practice. I think the news featured us one year and had a little segment.
Hmm.
And at that time, I was so busy taking care of people that I wasn't really aware like
Hmm.
that all of this was happening. And it wasn't like it was a new thing, but I think you're just so busy in the grind of just like taking care of your patients and trying to do your best. And the patients got such good care. And I'm not giving myself the glory for that. I mean, it's God
And,
who helped.
and at the time, it was an all Black practice too.
Yeah.
I will
Yeah. But
say, yeah.
I just think we just took care of people because we knew them.
Mhm.
We knew them. And I just think that is really part of why people get good care. Like if you see the same person every week and they never complain about anything, and then that one week they come in and they say, "I just feel a little bad." You start taking notice. Like you want to make sure their blood pressure's okay. Do they spill a protein? Let's draw a little bit of blood work. Let's put your baby on a monitor. Let's have you come back in 2 days instead of a week. I mean, and those are the kind of things that you do when you see the same people or you really are listening to the same people week after week. But if you take someone and you shuffle them to the next doctor, and they got 5 minutes with you, tops, and even some of the care is being provided by the medical assistant because some doctors' offices, the medical assistant will listen to the baby, and then the doctor comes in, checks a few boxes, and walks out. Like, I just don't know how that's going to do well. I
Mhm.
just don't know how that's going to do well. And I think that that's part of the problem. And I would also say that, and I don't want to get in trouble for saying these things, but I do feel like this is, my observations
Mhm.
is that a lot of hospital practices make their hospital is the brand. When you drive past a billboard, you see this hospital's name or that hospital's name, and you see a picture of a woman holding a baby that's a stock photo, but you never see, come see this doctor, come see this doctor, come see this doctor. And so I think that also adds to this sort of level of anonymity where you're coming in, you make a phone call because you want to see someone at XYZ practice or this practice, and you're basically just put with the person who has the next availability. And if you ask to see someone, maybe you'll have that first visit with that person, but it's almost as if the hospital makes things such that you can't ever fall in love with one person. You got to fall in love with this is the whole facility. And
Mhm.
so if your doctor leaves, they just kind of switch you around and I think that adds the purpose of that is to put a little systemization to things. But I think that very systemization is what depersonalizes people and makes it such that you don't really see people as individual because the same person is not seeing that person. It's just you just can't get to know anybody. There's no way to get to know anybody in that kind of. I mean, I'm not saying
Mhm.
that if you go to a hospital you'll never get to know someone, but I'm just saying
Yep.
if you go to a practice and you see 12 different people, nobody can know you. They cannot. They can see data and they have to understand that a data for Helen is going to be different than data for Katie.
Mhm.
And things that Helen might experience, like for instance, if I have a patient that had an elevated sugar test and I'm telling her you have to come back for a 3 hour and she ends up being diabetic. If I have a patient that's from India, a Spanish speaking country, or Africa, the first thing I'm going to tell them is, I know you eat a lot of carbs. I mean, you can just know their diet. The Latinos are probably going to eat a lot of rice, tortilla traditionally. Indians, rice and naan, chickpeas. Africans are eating, fufu, rice, banku. And so if you come at them and say, we're going to need you to eat a low carb diet, and you have no idea what kind of carbs they're eating, it's not going to work.